Hello, ACPS staff, and welcome back to another video tutorial on Adobe Express. This is the third in a series on creating projects. For this video, we will talk about the option to create a video project here in Adobe Express. So from my dashboard, I'm going to select that option. And across the bottom of my screen right here, you'll see I have two options. I can begin by adding media, or I can choose start from scratch. And I'm going to select that second option there to start from scratch, just so that you can see what the dashboard looks like when we go to create a video project. So what we get is sort of a placeholder track at the bottom here with the option to add audio, meaning that I could pull some from Adobe's stock audio files that they have available. So I'm going to begin by showing you how you can record your own video right here inside of Adobe Express, and then we're going to add some additional of that stock media that Adobe has available to our video project, so we can blend all of these things together to make one video project. So I'm going to come over to the option on my toolbar on the left here that says Media. And right away, we have the option to upload, but I mentioned that we were going to record here inside of Adobe. So I'm going to select videos from the tab on the top, and then you'll notice record yourself comes up as one of the options. When you select it, if you have a webcam, it's going to wake up your webcam so that you're ready to begin that recording. And then when you are able, you can click that start recording button. Notice right underneath it says there is a limit of 5 minutes to the recording time. So when you think about recording in Adobe Express, I want you to think really short. If you're making instructional videos for students, you want to be very purposeful in what you want to instruct on today and not go too large so that your video runs over 5 minutes. So I'm going to go ahead and select the start recording. It's going to give me a countdown so that I know when we're officially ready. And now I can say, good morning, everybody, and welcome to my video. When I'm done, I click stop recording. I have the ability to reset it, start over again. I can play the video officially ready. So I can make sure that it sounds good, that I said everything that I needed to. And then when I'm ready, I click on save recording, and it's going to add it right there in that placeholder track that it had already put after I clicked on the start from scratch right there. So I have my play button down here in the bottom left where I can check on my project as I'm building it. We notice that we have that stack of layers beginning to appear on the right hand side over there. And then we have the same tools and the same window over here on the left to edit and work with our existing project. Right now, there's only a handful of options because we only have this one video track here, but you'll notice we have edit that allows us to adjust things like color and saturation. We have the ability to change the corners right here. If I want to kind of round things out, I can do that. We can adjust the position, opacity, things like that. There's also effects and then animations, and we'll come back to a couple of those as we get some additional options added here. So let's go back to adding things to our project, and this time we're going to add things from what Adobe actually has available. So I'm going to go back to my Media tab because this is one you'll frequently use when working on a video project. And I can add still images like photos, but I can also pull video tracks, I can pull audio tracks that Adobe has available, and each of those appears as a different tab across the top right there. So starting with maybe a photo, as I sit here recording this today, it is Halloween of 2025, so I'm very inspired to search for images and videos that have to do with Halloween. I can select something and I can either add it as a layer, meaning it would show up over top of my existing track, or I can add it as a scene in sequence. When I choose that option, you'll notice it appears as a track right after the one that I had already added. So my recording is first, and then this scene of the bat flying in front of the rising moon would show second. If I select on it and I begin to drag it, you'll see how I can easily change the order of these. So if I actually wanted this to be the opening of my video, I can drag it into the first position and place it in front of the track that I had put there first. But by default, things will come out in the order with which you add them. So my video was first because I recorded it, and this image came out second because I added it afterwards. I can also change the timing of this by simply dragging the end right there. So if I really only want this on the screen for a couple of seconds, maybe just 2.5, you'll see that little timestamp that appeared on the left-hand side there as I was adjusting it. And once I let go of it, it bumps the video up against it so that we have them in sequence one after the other. Let's go back to our media again. I want to show you one more kind of fun little trick right here. Many of the images that you see here have a fairly standard or solid colored background. If I select on this one and choose Add it as a layer, you'll notice that it will appear over top of what I currently had there as a scene, and it is over top of the first opening scene, that again, that bat over the rising moon. And I can't actually, this is me trying to drag it into a different position. So if my intention was actually to put this over top of the video of me, I actually needed to select or put this player in place over top of where I wanted to put it before I added it. So I'm actually going to go back and I'm going to show my layers here. And then I'm going to delete this and I'm going to add it again, but this time I'm going to be more purposeful. I'm going to put my playhead in the space where I want to add this. I'm going to select and I'm going to do add as a layer to canvas. And now you'll see it appears over top of the video portion of me. And I'm going to drag it out and expand it so that it fills the entire screen, completely covers me. And we're going to use a tool that we were introduced to in a previous project type. We're going to use the remove background tool. And that's the wonderful thing about choosing some of these images that have this solid background, is that's really what they're designed to do, is show as an overlay over top of another image or video clip. So I'm going to choose remove background. And what we'll get ultimately with the effect is these pumpkins down the left-hand side of this short video clip of me saying welcome to everybody in the morning. Let's go back and add one more layer here to our project. And I'm going to add that over top of that opening scene. And that is some text. So far we've worked entirely with video and still images, different types of media, but we can also put text over top of any of our video projects right here. So I'm just going to choose one of these simple buttons here and add this over top. And then we're going to start altering this, and we're going to change this to just a welcome message, which of course is not going to fit super well over top of this, but that's where we go to the layers over here to help us get a hold of each of these, drag all of these different layers out so that they fit the text a little bit better. Multiple layers to this one, and we just keep dragging them out. Then we can come back and select all of it in order to center it on the page a little bit better, maybe move it above the bat so we can see that. Wonderful. So now anytime you want to check to see what your project is looking like, you can select, make sure your playhead is at the very beginning of your project. You select play. We're officially ready. And now I can say, good morning, everybody, and welcome to my video. When I'm done, I click. Okay, so if I'm satisfied with the project, I have a couple of options. I can share it. We've seen that with some of the other project types right here. I can go in and I can choose to give somebody a view-only link. I can turn it into a template if I want the students to sort of create a similar project and model what I had included in mine. If I had assigned this to my students as part of a Canvas assignment, I would have the option here to share it back with my teacher through Canvas. But ultimately, what we're going to do with this one is we're going to choose our download and we're going to bring it down as an MP4. And that's because I want to talk about translation options. But if I use Adobe's Translate tool right now, just as we saw with the project tool, the only thing that it can translate is text, which means the only thing it's going to do is translate this word welcome. And I want to go a step further than that. I want to have it create captions for me, and then I want to have it translate the captions so that all of what I'm speaking during this portion of the video right here is not only captioned but also translated. And I can't do that right now. It actually requires an extra step. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to download this and save it as an MP4. And it takes it just a moment. So now it's here, it's ready for me to download. I'm just going to name this My Video and choose Save. Now that that's downloaded, I'm going to go back to my Adobe Express dashboard. So I'm going to click on my A up here in the far upper left-hand corner. And what I want to use in order to get the captions is actually one of those quick actions. So I'm going to select my plus sign. I'm going to go to my quick actions tab, and I'm looking for one that says caption a video. So here's my option right here. I select on that, and very simple steps, just as we've seen before. We're going to tap to upload our video. We're going to choose that My Video that I just recorded and choose Open. On the right-hand side, it asked me what language. I left it set to English, and just as it took a moment for it to download, it will take it just a moment to analyze the video, get all of the spoken words out of it, and add those to it as captions. So now that that process is finished, if we go back and we play our video, so I'm going to select play right here on the screen, and you'll see when the captions begin to appear on the screen. We're officially ready, and now I can say good morning everybody and welcome to my video. When I'm done, okay, so there we have our first set of captions, but I mentioned we could translate those, and that is one additional step. What we're going to do now is we're going to choose Open in Editor. And once again, we're back here into the Adobe Express editing tool, but now we've got the captions added as an additional layer that shows up beginning right here when we transition from our still image with some text to the video portion that has me. So now if we use our translate tool, it will find this chunk of text, the caption text, as an additional item that is available to be translated. So I'm going to go ahead and choose Translate up here at the top. I'm going to choose my language that I'm translating into Spanish. We're going to stay with the same tone of voice that I was using in the video, translate all of it, and then I'm going to choose Translate. And once again, it takes just a moment to read the entire file, all of the captions, all of the text that's in there. And now if we come to the portion of the video that has the captions, you'll notice that they are in Spanish as opposed to English. But here's where it's going to get really, really cool. So we know from the poster project video that when we translated it made a complete copy of our poster. So we had two different versions of our poster. We had the original poster with all of the text on it in English, and we had the second version of our poster with the text on it in Spanish. And that's what we have here. We have two entirely different versions of our video here. If we go back to pages, you'll see we have the first video where everything is in English. Then we have the second video where all of the captions are in Spanish. But I want to get them combined into one video together. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to go up to my layers here. I'm going to expand on this collection of 4 different layers, which actually includes all of that text right there. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to select it, and then I'm going to right click on this and I'm going to choose Copy. Then I'm going to go back to my first video project. So I'm selecting that down here as my first thumbnail in my timeline. And I'm going to right click on the page and I'm going to choose Paste. And it's going to add my Spanish captions as another line that appears right underneath of my first one. And to make sure that everything worked exactly the way I want to, I can go to the very beginning of this portion and I can choose Play. Officially ready. And now I can say good morning everybody and welcome to my video. When I'm done, I can adjust anything that I need to. If I wanted to reposition either one of these, I can select on this. So maybe there's parts of the video where it shows kind of over top of my face and I don't like that very much. I can select and I can drag these to any position that I want, but I can have them appear one on top of the other in the same video clip. So once again, we'll go back to the very beginning. We'll play back this entire video project. We're officially ready. And now I can say, good morning, everybody, and welcome to my video. When I'm done, so there's a few options for creating videos here in Adobe Express, including recording your own clips using some of Adobe's stock media. And then once you have your video done, if you download it and save it as an MP4, you can use the quick action to caption your videos and then use the additional step to translate those captions as needed to make them more accessible for any audience.